Hello, hello. This is Love Your Work Life episode 153. Today, I want to talk about you and how you present yourself to others through your resume. Most of the people that come to me are wanting to leave a toxic workplace, feel undervalued, underappreciated, capped in their potential at their current job, and are ready for a promotion in their same field, or they're wanting to make a career pivot. And that can be a shift or something a little bit more drastic. It doesn't really matter which one of these you are, because your resume is going to be the thing that opens the doors to those conversations so that you can land the great new job, get the promotion, advance your career, all of the good things that I know everyone is looking for. So I want to talk to you today about something pretty practical, pretty fundamental, but game changing in your career. And that is your resume. Now, why is this important? Because most people approach their resume like it's just some kind of historical document. All of the things that you used to do, all of the results that you created along the way, not necessarily a bad thing. But if that's your only focus is this historical document of what you've done, then there's a good chance that you're missing out on helping other people see what you're capable of, what you can do, your capacity. And that's why I want to help you create a resume that is going to project you into your future instead of just reflect your past. Okay, my friends, I'm so excited. Now I'm going to go top to bottom here. And before I forget, in the show notes is going to be a link to my free resume mini course. In a very short amount of time, I'm going to walk you through these principles practically, visually, so that you'll be able to see how you can set up a resume for yourself that helps other people see you, and a resume that showcases you as the amazing candidate you are. So don't forget to check that out. The link will be in the show notes. The course also includes templates, and these templates are the exact templates that I'm using when I'm creating a resume for my client. So I'm not holding anything back. Definitely dive in. But I want to walk you through the philosophy a little deeper in this episode so that when you do jump into the course, you have a sense of where I'm going with this. You have a sense of what I'm trying to help you accomplish through this resume. Every time I write one, I tell my clients, I want your resume to feel empowering. I want it to be that holy cow, this is me moment. If your resume isn't doing that for you, then there's a good chance it's just reflecting your past. And your past isn't doing it for you. So, of course, your resume isn't doing it for you either. That's why we're going to talk about this. So let's go top to bottom. Of course, top, you've got your name, you've got your contact information. Easy peasy. Little bit of a tip here. I see this happening every once in a while. You do not need to put your full address. I don't recommend that you do that. You can put the city and state, you can put the zip code if you want to, but please don't feel obligated to share your home address. Not necessary. Underneath your name and contact information, there's a very important section called the headline. Now, I like to break this up into three parts, three buckets, I call them. The first bucket is always going to be the exact job title you are applying for. The second bucket is going to be some type of a skill associated with a job description, something you found. You're going to include that, a skill that you possess that you also saw in the job description. And the third bucket can be the industry. It can be a key function of the role that you can perform. That'll be your third bucket. Now, the first one is always the exact job title. And I know for some people that feels a little bit uncomfortable because maybe you've never had that job title before. But here's how I want you to reframe that. All that you're doing by including the job title is raising your hand. This is the job I'm applying for. all you're doing with that job title is basically labeling your resume for that role. This is going to help the person reading it immediately associate you with that role. Now, that happens psychologically, and it happens if they print out a whole bunch of resumes or they're sifting and sorting and they need to know who goes with what because they're filling a lot of roles. Well, we want them putting you in the right place. We don't want them to have to work hard to figure out the job you're applying for. So please don't let that feel awkward. Please include it. And if it's one of those super long job titles, then eliminate one or both of those second buckets, bucket number 2, bucket number 3. Next is going to be the summary. You don't need to put a title, summary. Everybody knows what it is. Don't waste the valuable real estate on your resume with a line that is describing something that's obvious. Here's the thing with the summary. This is where I want you to talk about your impact. I want you to talk about who you are, a little bit of your journey, and not just, again, that historical record, but the kind of impact that you have achieved and delivered in your career. Now, a way to really level this up is if you include some of your soft skills. As I say, when I'm working with clients, your natural behavioral strength traits in the workplace. So if you are naturally methodical, if you're great at presenting, if you're a more modest, supportive, collaborative type approach, again, behavior in the workplace, then mention that. Takes a supportive, collaborative approach when solving problems and working with stakeholders. Do you see how that just starts to elevate it a little bit? You could say works efficiently with stakeholders. Great. But how is it that you work efficiently with stakeholders? Offer that little description. Start to paint a picture of what it's like to have you in the role. Now, the next section is going to be core competencies, business proficiencies. Those are the two headings that I often like to use. This is where you're going to put in the keywords. And I'm not talking about keyword stuffing here. Don't get me wrong. But these are the skills, both hard skills, technological skills, transferable skills that you bring to a role. And just lay them in there, put the little pipe symbol between with some nice spacing. We know people are going to be scanning your resume, looking for those skills that pop out. This is especially true with a recruiter who doesn't have as deep a knowledge maybe about your role, but they've been given a checklist by the hiring manager. Check, check, check. Make it easy for them to find. Include that core competency section. Now, if you're in a techie tech kind of a role, if you're a computer scientist, data analyst, or software engineer, something like that, I work with a lot of y'all. But what you want to do is you maybe want to include a short section called technical proficiencies. And that's where you put your things like Python and Jira and all of the stuff that you know how to do. Again, making it really easy for people to say, okay, phew, good. This candidate, this person can do that. Now, the next section is where I veer off and do things a little bit differently than the typical resumes that you see out there. This is a section that I call essential skills and accomplishments. This is where you can pick 3, 4, maybe even 6 essential skills that you have, offer a description of that skill, and then include an accomplishment that feels like a natural byproduct of that skill. One of the common ones that I include is leadership and management. It doesn't matter if you are a leader in terms of job title and direct reports or not. Everybody has leadership and management skills. So if you talk about how you lead a project, you can put a description of yourself. Something like leads with authority, champions a common cause, or champions connection to a common purpose. See how that feels behavioral. And then when you have an accomplishment that showcases how you've led with authority, how you've offered recommendations, and so on, and especially if it has some impact metrics in there, you are going a very long way to associating you with your future, helping the other person see you in your future role with them than just associating you with your past. Now I go deeper into this, into the mini course. And as I said, the templates have this section all built out for you. So it'll give you some examples of how to utilize it. But this is key to helping people see you. We want people to see you and your capacity to do the job that you're applying for. Another example in this essential skills might be collaboration and teamwork. How would you describe yourself, your behavior, how you show up in situations that require collaboration and teamwork? Maybe you're a strategic thinker. Maybe project management is an essential skill. Great. Put project management. But if you're a great project manager, it's bigger than meetups, stand-ups, definition of done, right? It's more about you and how you get things done, how you connect with people, how you're comfortable interacting with people at all levels of the organization. These are the things I want you to say about yourself. And of course, you're going to have your professional experience section. This is where you're going to go into the specifics of your role, your responsibilities. And there's a big trend happening right now where people are using AI, Chat GPT, to help them craft this section of your resume. And I'm not against it. I actually do use Chat GPT a lot when it comes to doing some research. And when you're making a pivot, this can be especially important because you can use Chat GPT to find the overlaps, the interconnectedness of what you can do and what you've been doing. And here's what I mean by that. You put in a prompt that describes what you do and describes the change that you're trying to make. If you are ready for a promotion, but you've never had that role before, then it can seem like a little bit of a stretch, right? Because you've never done it before. But my friend, you're ready for it because you know that you're ready for it. You have been around it enough that you have the capacity and strength to make that happen. So when you go to Chat GPT, what you're going to do is you're going to ask Chat to give you the skills that overlap with what you've been doing and what you want to do. Now, here's the key. I don't want you only relying on the output. I want you going into it. I want you looking at it and finding the things that you can absolutely relate to. Those aha moments. Oh my gosh, Chat GPT just found that overlapping skill, that thing between where I am now and where I want to go. And then look for an accomplishment, look for a metric that demonstrates your capacity. This is about empowering you for your future. This isn't about all the stuff you've done in your past. And the reason I don't want you to just leave it with whatever chat says is because I want you to own this. When you get that little aha moment based on that description, I want you to go in. I want you to wordsmith it a little bit. I want you to dive into the details surrounding that. I want you to own it. The reason I want you to own it is because when you do, it feels empowering. It doesn't feel like this disconnect of maybe or maybe not. And practically speaking, someone is going to ask you a question about that bullet point. Just assume it's going to happen. And if you left it all to Chat GPT and you did not dive into it and wordsmith it and tweak it a little bit so that it feels like you, then it's going to be awkward when you have to answer that question. And of course, somewhere down the line, and especially if you have some way back career history that you want to include, but you're worried about the dates because of your concerns of ageism, or is just so far back but it's important. It adds value to where you're going. For instance, I have a lot of clients who are coming full circle. They're actually finding that they're going back to an industry that they really loved. So if that's you, then just put a little section called additional professional experience and include the way back job titles and companies without dates. What's really awesome about this is page 1. If you want to include an accomplishment from those way backs, guess what? You can, because that accomplishment is going to go under essential skills and accomplishments. It means you don't have to have a 4-page resume to capture something way back that adds value. If you list it under additional professional experience, then you can legitimately pull out a significant accomplishment that's aligned with where you're headed, but you're including it with who you are under essential skills, not just where you've been. And education, listen, education, you may or may not have a degree related to what you want to do. That's okay. List the school that you went to. I do not have a degree. I found that I could jump into my career really quickly, about 2.5 years in. I still list the university I went to. I still list the area of study. I do not say I had a bachelor's degree because I don't. But I want people to know that I did have some college experience. If you have it, great. If you don't worry about it. If you have certifications, if you have done some professional development, you can also include this. Just call it education and professional development, or call it professional development certifications if you don't have the degree. It's not a problem. And the more you just believe it within yourself that it's not a problem, it's no big deal, it's not going to be for anybody else either. And I know I went through those same little trepidations every time I was laid off. Oh my gosh, what if this is the time that my degree comes into play? And I would just settle down and say, wait a minute, I know what I've accomplished without one. That shows my capacity. That shows what I'm capable of. And there are studies out there that show that 75% of people are not doing jobs with their degree anyway. So just accept it, because you are amazing. You have capabilities that you're probably not giving yourself credit for. And that's why I love this resume format, because now you're giving yourself credit for all of your amazingness. You're painting a very compelling picture of who you are and how you show up. And you're connecting the dots on paper to help you help them, the Jerry Maguire moment, help them see you as the amazing, amazing person you are. All right, my friends, go out there and write an empowering resume, empowering for your future, that just kind of makes you feel really, really good about yourself. That's the kind of resume that's going to open doors. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and please visit elissashuck-careercoach.com for more information about how I can help you with your career and leadership goals. Talk to you soon.